Be showing you how to create a map of tuberculosis cases around the world using our own data. So first things first, you'll have this spreadsheet and it's pretty basic, but it just shows all the countries and then the estimated new cases of tuberculosis in 2024 and then also the estimated tuberculosis related deaths for the same year. Now, as I said, it's quite basic. A better representation might also be to show the number of cases per 100,000, so we can actually see more of the cases in the context of the country's population, but I'll show you that in another video. Anyway, so you need to have this spreadsheet saved, and the first thing we want to do is we want to search for countries because we want to represent this data for each country. We'll need to start off with this layer here. So add it in, and I always like to change the styles while we've got it open. And I just do the black outline, the no fill color, and save. Okay, now I'm going to add our data. So on the arrow, click add layer from file, your device, and add your spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm letting you know this for when you do your own assignment. These are all the different columns on your Excel spreadsheet. That's why it's really important that you have them clearly named. This is how it's going to show up in ArcGIS. So rename these as needed to make sure they make sense. It's also fine to leave it as is, but I just like to change it so that it looks much neater. And then string means it's a word, integer means it's a whole number, and I believe these are to do with decimals, but I can't remember off my head. Okay, once that's all sorted, we just want to click next. This part's really important. This is so basically it knows which column is the place. So if you have used country names, then you should have this option here selected, place names. If you're doing country, like all countries of the world, you want to change the advanced location settings. It may be closed like this, so open it up and scroll down until you see world. Alternatively, if you were doing states or cities in a particular country, you would pick whichever country that is. But because we are doing countries of the world, we're clicking world. Now you need to make sure that in your Excel spreadsheet, the countries are actually typed correctly. Otherwise, it won't know that you're talking about that place. Sometimes countries have different names to the names that we may use daily, so it's really important that when you are creating your Excel spreadsheet, that the names match up to what the names are in the countries layer on ArcGIS. So for example, we may call this Ivory Coast. Oops, where is it? Ivory Coast. But it may show up as this on ArcGIS. So the way to make sure that you have got the correct spelling and the correct version of the name is to go to your World Countries layer on ArcGIS, click on these three dots, click Show Table, and you can see the version of the word. And it's all in alphabetical order, so you should be able to find it pretty easily. Guinea-Bissau is an example. See how it is hyphenated. Whoops, where is it? See how it is hyphenated. So making sure that you would also do it in a hyphenated way, and so on and so forth. And then where it says address or place, location type, I'm saying that it's a country. That is the column of my Excel spreadsheet that gives that information. And then we click next. Here is the title of your layer. So I'm just going to write TB cases 2024, make that global. And then it will do its thing. Awesome. Okay, so as you can see, the cases have all appeared as these little pinpoints on every single country, but there is no option to show it as a choropleth map style layer, which is why we need to now attach these to the country. So making sure that you're still clicked on the tuberculosis cases layer, you want to click on the Analysis tab over here, click on Tools, and Join Features. Now the target layer is what you're attaching the data to. So we want to show the cases by countries, so we're going to click on World Countries. Now the join layer is the information that you are joining, or the information that you are adding, and that is the tuberculosis cases. We are doing the attribute relationship, and we're going to click country name is joined to the country name. This is when it's really important that you have the correct spelling or grammar of the country, otherwise the data won't attach to that place. That way it's going to put, for example, Australia to Australia, and it will attribute the number of tuberculosis cases that we said Australia has to that place, or to that polygon. Okay, now you can just type your output name again. So I'm just going to write TB cases global 2024 and run. Now this can take a while. Oh, sorry. I can't do hyphens apparently. Okay, run. Now this part can take a while, so just be patient. And you can also check on how it's going by clicking this button up here, and it tells you how much longer it has to go. But it might take a few minutes. While you're waiting for that to happen, it could be a really good time to save what you have done so far. There is nothing worse than making good progress and then forgetting to save it, or your computer dies or something happens. So let's just write global TB cases 2024. And then that is saved. Yay, we are safe. Okay, this is still taking a while. Okay, so now you have got a new layer added here, and this is the one that is joined. So we can hide that other one here. I like to drag the world countries to the top and click back onto our new layer. If we click onto styles, oops, sorry, it's just taking a moment. Click onto styles, field. Now this field is the data that is actually being represented on the map. So I want to show the number of cases in 2024. You can actually show it you can show a few things here. You can show the cases and the deaths at once, and these circles will show the larger the circle, the more deaths, and the darker the color, the more cases. I find that quite hard to read unless you zoom in, which you can't always do. So we're just going to show one set of data. Okay, so we'll just click on counts and amounts. And as you can see, it's now a Commonwealth map with the highest color, the highest cases being the darker color, and the lowest cases having the lightest colors. Okay, I don't like having the spectrum because it can be very hard to actually identify specific numbers. So we are going to click on style options, and I'm going to classify the data. Now this part you sort of just do what feels right. It needs to make sense, but my point is I'm trying to show places with significantly a lot of tuberculosis cases and not so many. So I'm just going to go with 6, and I'm just going to spread these out so I can get to them. Alright, I'm going to do 1,000 cases, 10,000 cases, that seems like a lot. Or maybe I'll go 50,000 cases, then maybe 100,000 cases, then maybe 500,000 cases, and then 1 million cases. That's a nice spread, I think. So we can see the places with significantly low amounts of tuberculosis, where it starts to get higher, and then where it is significantly high. I'm also going to change the colors so it's a little bit more obvious. This one is good because the color scheme is very similar and yet quite different, but I feel that some of these are a little bit similar. Oops. So I will slightly adjust those colors. And then I can click done. Okay, So I'm just in properties. I'm not sure why this is so transparent, but I'm changing the transparency. So there we go. That's much more clear. Okay, I'm going to change the base map in the background because I'm not liking the way that looks. So usually for data like this, I just click on light grey canvas. You could also do dark grey. I think light grey is just easier. Awesome, back to my layers. Don't really even need this one anymore, I don't think. Cool. Alright, so there we have a map of tuberculosis cases in 2024. And if we look at the legend, we can clearly see the countries that have the highest number of cases, the ones where it's still very high, and all the way down until there's places with none at all. Now white is the 0 to 1,000. Grey is my no data. I think I can actually add a no data option if I have a look. Let's see. Oh, I thought there was an option, but maybe not. That's okay. Oh yeah, here we go. You click on this, and if you want to make it really clear that there's no data, because my white and grey are very similar, I'm going to do a pattern instead. Alright, how does that look? Did that work? Why did that work? Oh, okay, well, I'm not sure why that's not working. Weird. Oh well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, I'm just going to include that in there anyway. So there we have it. In our next video, I'm going to show you how we can then find your own data, clean it up, and create your own layer from scratch instead of using my data set that I've given you. Hopefully this is helpful, and now you can create your own map showing tuberculosis cases and other ecological hazards around the world.